Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another version of the RPP user group webinars. Um, 25 days until election day, if I've done my math right. And we thought we would take some time to show off some cool tools that we have to help people track early voting and what's going on with elections, with early vote, generally speaking, but specifically with members as well. We also wanted to talk about some of the interesting things that we've seen in some pilot cases of people doing some get out the vote projects in recent elections and planned for this year for some specific audiences. And so appreciate you all making time this afternoon for another one of these webinars. We've got some great guests here again today. First up, we've got a member of our Real Strategies data and tech team, Elizabeth Lepore, and she's going to be talking about our early vote dashboard that we recently have released now that early vote has started, and many states are now releasing early vote totals. Elizabeth's going to show off this tool that is available in the Dash instance, as well as talk a little bit about kind of early voting ballot return data and how some of that works. Then Elizabeth is going to be talking about how to track some of the early vote data related to association members in the membership dashboard. And then finally, she's going to be talking about kind of a cool new campaign data tool that we have called the Map tool. Very exciting name, but a really fun new tool that we have that we want to show off that provides some really cool data about members and voters in different political geographies. Then after Elizabeth, after I turn the time over to Elizabeth, one of our colleagues, Coleman Bass, is going to be talking about some interesting pilot get out the vote campaigns that he's conducted among voters and specific consumer audiences, and some really interesting new tools in the digital space that help people who are running campaigns to track data related to who's seen ads, who saw your ads and voted or didn't vote, and some interesting tools related to that that people might be interested in. So with that, wanted to filibuster a little bit so people who maybe we're going to take a minute or two to hop on would have time to do so. But without any further ado here, I'm going to turn the time over to my colleague, Elizabeth Lepore, based in New York City, I believe. Isn't that right, Elizabeth? Very cool.
That's correct.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for your time today. Very busy time, but I think people are going to be really interested to see these tools. So we'll turn the time over to you. And just so everyone knows, there will be a question and answer period after Elizabeth is done showing off some of these tools. So you can put in questions that you might have or comments into the YouTube comments there, and we'll be able to get those questions to Elizabeth for her to answer afterwards. So with that, Elizabeth, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Justin. As Justin mentioned, I'm going to be going through some different tools that are available to you guys. And the first one we're going to do is our early vote dashboard. Basically, what you see here is as the early vote data comes in, we mix that with your member data, and then you're able to see which of your members have voted, which have requested a ballot, which have early voted, so on and so forth. So the first view we have is the whole US, but we're going to show you how to do a specific state. So what I'm going to do is go over to this button called Select a State. It's going to open up a menu. From here, for example, I'll go to Florida. I'll hit Submit. And now what I have is a specific view of Florida. So I could see the total registered members, the total ballots requested, returned, and total in-person early voted. I also have some visualizations over here that basically tell you the ballots requested versus returned. And then I have modeled party versus requested and returned. And I also have registered party requested versus returned. If you want to look at your specific associations, what you could do is in the select map view, rather than state, you'll hit association. And now we can actually see your specific associations. So when you click on one, you can get a little view of how many ballots are returned per that specific association, and you can click around and see. But if you also wanted to see the visualizations and the numbers here update based on that, what you're going to do is you're going to hit the select associations dropdown. And for example, I'll pick Miami. And now we're just seeing the data specifically for the Miami Association. So this tool is really cool where it allows you to see the early vote data as it comes in, and it allows you to see your specific state, but then also go down to the association level as well. If you also want to see when your state specifically has been updated, we have an option of state updates. So if you click this button, you'll see Florida specifically. And if you go to the national view, you can see all those states listed down below. And that is it for the early vote dashboard. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the membership dashboard. The membership dashboard now also has the early vote data as well. So if I click on filter contacts, I'm going to let that load. Okay, then I'm going to go to voting history. And I see that there's been a new option added, which is 2024 General Early Absentee Voter. I can click for those who have already voted or those who have not yet voted. So if I, for example, did not vote, and I go ahead and search my contacts, that starts the filtering process. I can see it's about 50,000. So then I go to contacts, and I can get those specific people. And if I want, I could download a list, or I can continue filtering down as well to further refine that. I'm going to bring on my colleague, Christine, and she's going to give us a use case example.
Hi, everybody. Christine Berger with Real Strategies. Thanks for joining us today. I just want to talk about when I was in Minnesota, how I did GOTV using the membership dashboard for my members. So if I was doing, for example, if I was doing independent expenditure or supporting a candidate with PAC funds, and let's say I was supporting a Republican in House District 5 and a Democrat in Senate District 6, I would go into my dashboard and I would pull up all my Realtor members that were in House District 5 that were Republicans, like the candidate, and that perhaps needed a little reminding to vote. People who had not perfect voting scores, but less than perfect voting scores. And I would download that list of Republican members in House District 5 that needed a little voting reminder. And then I would do the same thing for Senate District 6. I would say, show me all the Democrats in my membership that belong to Senate District 6 that need a little reminder to vote. And so I would download this list. So then I would combine all the lists, and I could either email these members, I could text these members. I use Real Strategies for that, digital advertising or robocalls if you're allowed to do it. Those are pretty inexpensive. So if you can download those lists and then remind your members to vote. It's a very generic email. You send even though you're reporting or you're supporting a Republican in one district and a Democrat in another, it's just, hey, Realtor members, just a reminder to go vote. Tomorrow's election day. So it's not like an independent expenditure because you're not identifying a candidate, but it's a very targeted email or text message or phone call to the people that you really want to mobilize from your membership for those candidates you're supporting. If you need help with that, reach out to any one of us and we'll give you a hand.
Thank you, Christine. Next, what I'm going to be showing is our map tool. So let me go ahead and pull that up. You should see our map tool. So this map tool is for your specific state and your specific associations. And what you're able to do is actually get a lot of cool information regarding this. So over here, we see New York and we see their specific associations. And if I click on one, for example, I get a bunch of information. So I'll actually get how much geographical area this association overlaps with their congressional, their state senate, their assembly district, or their specific counties. I can get things like how many are registered, how many are unregistered, and how many voted in the 2018, 2020, or 2022 elections. I could get the number of members, but what's also cool is if I click on this overlaps with button, I get how many members within this specific association are in this congressional district. I can also go ahead and export my member data based on specific groups that I select and download that as an Excel sheet. What else is cool about this map tool is we don't just have the association view. If you click this button over here and then go down to congressional, what's going to happen is we're going to see the congressional view as well, as you can see. So now I'm going to click on Congressional District 23, and I get to see what associations are in Congressional District 23. I also have two buttons here called Profile Report and Gap Analysis. And if I go ahead and click on the Profile Report, I have a gender composition breakdown, a race and ethnicity breakdown, along with an age distribution and voter statistics for this specific congressional district. I can download these reports by clicking on the PDF button for each specific district that I want. And I also have the option to do a gap analysis report. When I click on the gap analysis, what I can see is the Democratic base versus the Republican base, the estimated turnout, and I actually see the voter distribution here as well. If you don't want to click through everything, let's say I want 20 districts, what you can also do is click on the map button itself, and you could select your report type. So for example, if I want a gap analysis, I get to select my office level. So let's do congressional. And then I get to select my congressional districts. So let's do New York. That will load. And now it's an easy way to just pull up all of those specific reports that you want. The view is also available for the State House and the State Senate as well. And you're able to pull profile reports and gap analysis for all your districts based on those different levels. That is my demonstration for you today. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments on YouTube.
So Elizabeth, thank you so much for running through those dashboards. We do actually have a couple of questions here. The first question, oh, it's popped up. Just so savvy there. Can we drill down to the specific individuals, list of names for who hasn't voted, for all voters as well as members? And maybe, so Elizabeth, in the membership dashboard, obviously that's not possible, but maybe this is an opportunity for you to talk about kind of that we are collecting the early voting ballot return data for all voters in the states, and what frequency are we doing that for the typical state?
Thank you, Justin. So as you mentioned, for the membership dashboard, you are able to see who has voted and who hasn't voted based on that filter that I showed. For voters in general across the state, not specifically members, we are updating that data around 12 p.m. Eastern every single day. And that's being collected via our data partners. And we have sort of a calendar that lets you see when that data is coming in or not. So that frequency is, so your membership dashboard and your early vote data dashboard are being updated at 12 p.m. Eastern every single day. And you can specifically look at those who have or haven't voted via our membership dashboard for your members.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And I'll just mention, for any states out there that are interested in getting down to the voter level of who hasn't voted yet, to engage in specific independent expenditure races or things like that. We can work with states to collect that data and provide reports. We do just need to plan in advance kind of what that's going to look like and that. So if you're interested in getting that kind of information on voters more broadly beyond just the members, talk to us and we can figure out a way to do that. We have done that in past election cycles with many of the states out there, and are definitely willing to do that. That's why we're collecting all the early voting data. So we can do that if people would like to. Thank you, Elizabeth. We had another question here for text messages. Does this system send directly out of the system for text messages, or do we need to create a list and then use a different platform to do that?
So in the membership dashboard, you are able to pull those phone numbers yourself and generate those lists, or pull those emails yourself and generate those lists. So we do provide the list itself.
Yeah, so there is not functionality to send an SMS or MMS text directly out of any of these tools yet. That's a great idea. But no, we definitely easily enough can export either an email list or a text list, or pull that, other ways for, voters more broadly, to be able to help with a get out the vote campaign, reminder campaign, if that's something that people are interested in. Let's see. Any other questions? I don't believe so. Elizabeth, thank you. We really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy working on these things, and I will just mention, so these various tools reside in the Dash instance, right, in the tools section. And Elizabeth, I know you remind me, because I know I've seen these, but are there tutorial videos or things like that in the Dash instance as well?
There are tutorial videos within the Dash instance as well, but if you have any additional questions or concerns, you're always welcome to email us as well if you want a demo or a tutorial walkthrough like meeting.
Awesome.